What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Grind Force Gaming. Nova here with a brand new Street Fighter Duel video, and we have a new event. So as always, we have a new fighter trial realm, and I wanted to just put this video together very quickly so I could show you my team compositions to help you get the rewards for this as fast as possible, so that you can move on and focus more on the event that we have with the Summer Elena drop. So sometimes these trials are kind of difficult. It can be hard to put together a good team to combat the enemy lineup that you have in front of you, but this one was actually pretty easy, and it's nice in this regard that we're using a fighter like Summer Elena to go through this trial because we're guaranteed to have healing to be a part of our team. She's got some really cool things going on with her kit. I love that her C1 and C2 are auto trigger skills, so you don't actually slot them. They happen when another fighter does their C1 or C2. So you're always getting skills from her, and you're always getting healing as a result, which is really, really cool. This is the first time that we have seen a normal faction fighter do this. Currently, there are only 3 fighters in the game that do it. One is Evil Ryu, one is Summer Ibuki, and then the other is the Monster Hunter Ken, or Gormagala Ken, who's not even available right now unless you're using the new currency to pick him up, but I don't know that I would recommend that because he's such an old fighter at this point in time. This one proved to be, I don't want to say the easiest one that I've done as far as trial realms go, but it was quite easy. There's only one fight that I think you'll have a hard time with, and that's the one that has Mummy Dalsim. There's like a full AoE nuke that will take out your whole team, and I'll show you how I beat that one later. We're not quite there yet through these, but I kept this in real time. Feel free to follow along, copy the lineup, copy the combo chain as well. And if you need some more time to put your lineup together, just pause the video for a second, copy it, and then you can move forward with it. All of these teams worked very well. If you have Sea Viper, definitely use her. If you have Guile available to you, use him as well. If you have Fashion Blanca, definitely use him. I found regular Blanca to be quite useful in this trial. I used him a couple times, I think, if I remember correctly. I filmed this earlier today and then didn't get around to doing this voiceover until now, so I don't really exactly remember how these team comps were set up, but I only struggled with one, and that was the Mummy Dalsim one. It took me, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5 times to put a team together to beat it, and I actually had to do kind of a weird team comp for it, but it worked extremely well once I made that change. So try to use speed as much as you can. That's why I put Yun into here, or Yang in here. I just wanted to get some extra speed from him, because when you're going up against a team like Guile, in this case Guile and BZ, like, this is a pretty fast team, so if you're not at least getting close to equating to that speed, you're gonna have a really hard time beating it. But right here you'll see Elena's damage immunity came into play because she got totally nuked there and it did not knock her out. So that was a great example of her functionality. If you missed that, definitely rewind this video, go back a little bit, and you'll see that Guile comes in with his saber kick, and Elena gets nuked, but it does not take her out. And she's already back to full health. She's kept the rest of the team alive. I mean, Cammy got knocked, but that's okay. If she had not had that damage immunity as part of her kit, she would have been knocked. This would have been the end of this fight for sure, and I would have had to try a different composition, but I think she's really good. I really do like that she is a normal faction. I really appreciate that as part of this game. It's something that we've been waiting for a little while, is to see something a little bit more player friendly. Like, it doesn't have to be like super free to play friendly, right? It just needs to be more just player friendly in general. It's really cool that we have a normal faction fighter as a special summon, and I think that her kit does well to have it make sense that she is a special summon, because it's really good. I mean, I think she now takes place as the best healer in the game. She has the ability to negate stun, which could potentially, and I need to test this, but that could potentially help you avoid interrupts. It could be, to a degree, it could be a little bit of a counter to Bisengi. But like I said, I need to test that. I'm not 100% positive yet, but we'll see how that rolls out here. There's one fight in here where you could test it. There's a B Sangeef on the other team, so I'm definitely going to play that and see if that actually works. But pretty awesome introduction to the game. And I love that we have another really good healer, because before we really only had Elena. So, you were kind of losing out on healing on the rest of your teams unless you were using Rose. But Rose isn't a C1 heal. She's a C2 heal, and there are better C2s in the game. Typically, you want, your super doing damage. You want your C2 and your C3 doing damage, and, maybe you're adding in a little bit of control or something, or buffing or debuffing with your C2. And then C3 is pretty much always just set to be just raw, like really high percentage damage. And then your C1 is really kind of like your buffing, your healing, just any kind of augmentation to your team. And it's really nice to see her have that auto-triggering C1 and C2 because you're getting really great passive healing from her. You're getting speed up as well. I think it's really cool. I'm very tempted to go for her. I've been saving my tickets because I didn't know what I wanted to do, but with her being so free-to-play friendly and accessible in this case, because you only need 8 copies of her in total, and the event gives you 2. So I only need to pull 6 copies of her, and then it takes regular faction fodder to level her up, which means I can then just go ahead and pull her from divination after that and get her to SSS +5 if I want to. But I don't know. I'm not really sure what I want to do yet because I've been saving up these tickets for a long time. And if the RNG is bad and I use a lot of them to get her, then, I might find myself wishing that instead I saved them for a different fighter. But I don't know. We'll see. I really wish, I don't want to talk about this, the training realm here, this realm training, whatever it's called. Why can't we use whatever fighters we want? Why can't we put her in the tag position? I have so many questions about this functionality of this part of the event. And it's weird that we can't use whatever team compositions we want to really test this unit out. I think this is something in the game that needs to change. I think that we should be given the freedom to be able to, in here, because this doesn't mean anything. You don't accomplish anything by playing this. It's just like to test her. But you don't even get to pick who you test with. It's a very weird situation. And I still really don't like that in these trial realms, you cannot put the featured fighter in the tag position. Because if you could, then you could make sure that she works in the tag position, because this has been a problem. We've seen a lot of fighters that once you put them in the tag, their passives don't work. Certain skills don't apply to everybody. Certain buffings don't happen. So it's like, why can't we test these things out? I think that we should be able to. So if you guys agree with me, put that in your recommendations, your in-game chat, recommend that to the devs, because I think that needs to change 100%. I'm not so sure about some of her things here. So in her FS, I brought this up on screen because I wanted to talk about number 10, unlock at +10, power of dance upgrades another random war dance skill to level 3. I don't know what that means. Is it talking about the leveling of the skill? Like as if it's not already leveled up high enough to have that unlocked? I'm not really sure. Her passive has something about that as well, if I remember correctly. Her FS +30 is very good. Gives you an additional 50% damage, not attack, but damage. And that is huge. That means everything's been factored in. Now that damage gets, not the attack comes in, you have your percentage increases based on your skills. That all equates to what the damage is, and that gets an additional 50% boost. That's huge. So the passive here as well, upgrades another random war dance skill to level 2. Again, I don't know what that means. I have not checked online to see if anybody else has talked about this yet or not, but I have no clue what that means. Her vehicles are great. They work perfectly with her kit, I think, and I love that the 6 out of 6 increases that time frame, because that's really what we're looking for here from her. We're looking at her skills being on the field for longer. I think it's amazing. If you have a very fast team, I think you're really going to see her shine. So we might have a new support fighter for like the Guile BZ team, which is kind of where I see her role right now, because BZ is fast. She's adding some speed. You're going to be getting a lot of benefit from her, and that's going to help keep your Guile alive. And I think ideally that's what we're looking for with that team. And I think it gives you a little bit more freedom to choose who you use as the tank on that team as well. Because before you kind of wanted Bison, but you could use Abel, but then you run the risk of Abel, not really surviving. But with all this passive healing going on, that frees up Elena to go somewhere else, and you could use Summer Elena on that BZ Guile team. So anyway, guys, that's the video for today. I appreciate you guys watching. Please take a moment to subscribe and stay tuned for the next video. Cheers.